have Mr. Sanjeev Sablo, who is a prolific writer, a former bureaucrat, and a motivational speaker, and who wants to see a change in the face of New India. Today, he is with us to share his thoughts on a book that he had recently penned, Seeing the Invisible: Economics for Children.
Today, I, Niharika Das and Anambika Ghosh of Class 8 would like to present a PowerPoint presentation on the book titled Seeing the Invisible. Hope you enjoy.
Strange things in this world. As we know, there are many strange things that happen to us in our day-to-day life. And we are not able to recognize it. But economists have the ability to recognize it, as economists know that the production of almost anything increases if people want more of it and are willing to pay for it.
Changes that time has brought. About 1 million years ago, modern humans did not exist. But suddenly, after 200 years, things started to change drastically. Scientific discoveries has made less people die and have made our life much more easy and comfortable. Before, the kingdoms were ruled by priests and kings. But we have overcome that phase and we have gained freedom. Through this change, many countries have got freedom and have evolved too. And when we, children, know about this freedom, we can contribute to our world and to the country.
Economists pay a lot of attention to how people feel. Economists like to study people. Important things of our life are always not measured by money. There are more important things like relationships, friends, family, which can help us to lead a happy life. I think we should, according to economists, we should give importance to those things so that we can lead to a happy life.
According to our point, what a government should do. Everybody should get the opportunity to be educated. There should be enough healthcare facilities for all sections. There should be law and order for maintaining peace. The government should help in the construction of public transport. And the government must not meddle with the price system. But sometimes, the government wants to do something good, but ends up failing. For example, the demonetization.
We all want to become rich, right? And there are some secrets for becoming rich. We should do, according to economists actually, we should do one thing and do it properly. Produce what people demand or want. And success needs time and effort. One cannot get everything in their life. And no one can define success for us. It's our hard work and our enthusiasm towards work that matters at last.
And lastly, I'd like to say, it is not important to take a degree to become an economist. We just need to read and think a lot. We should ask questions and then only we can get the answers. And this is the path of becoming a successful economist. With this, we'd like to end. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Respect Director Sir. Respect Director Sir, Principal Ma'am, Headmistress Ma'am, teachers, and all my different here. Today, I, Kushil Hakorai,
and everyone does.
of Class 8 would like to present the presentation that we have created based on the book that is Seeing the Invisible, which is written by our respected author, Mr. Sanjeev Sablo sir.
So we have not done a summary on the whole book. We have just focused on only one content, that is chapter 2. Not too long ago, all of us were very poor, but today many are very rich. This thing is not related to money. This thing is related to what we were in the past and what we are now. At that time, we didn't know anything about money, nothing about technology. We just used to hunt animals and live. But at that time, we didn't have anything. But now we're having so much thing to have fun and do a lot of things. So this first topic is, there was much fun 1,000 years ago. At first I want to say that 100,000 years ago, event evolved, and there were many creatures which are similar to us. But they were similar in state of physicality, but not in mental state. They were similar to us, yes. They used to stand in two legs, not the apes, they used to stand in two legs. But the thing we think now, they didn't think that at that time. So they were not similar in our mental state. So they used to struggle a lot to survive. The smallest dot, common disease could lead to death. They were they didn't know anything about any ailment. So they used to just live their life. The time they had, they used to live. And children's, now we're having so much fun. We're playing cricket, we're playing this, we're playing PUBG, we're so interested in these things. But at that time, there was nothing. You will imagine, you will be curious to know that at that time, the children wouldn't have an age of 5 years. They used to die before 5 years. So, and those who were able to pass the level of 5, they had enjoyed the games, fun. But at that time, I don't think that there was so much of games they used to play. Then, I want to say that after many decades, the larger society started to emerge. Then, what happened? The kings were able to live a long life. They were able to have a good mental state because they had the proper facilities, but not with the ordinary people. The ordinary people had a harsh life. The 7 wonders of the world that was created by the poor peoples, the workers, the slaves, which were not king. They had a very harsh life. At that time, war was ahead, and people who were captured, they were made slave, and they were started to build buildings. But they used to have a very hardworking life. From such a morning to the last night, they used to work very hard. But we say that working hard will make us successful, but they were working so hard, but what they had, nothing. They were very poor compared to those kings. So I will say my friend Krishna Hopper to continue with the next slide.
Well, we all know that we got freedom from the British rule in 1947. But what about those people who lived before 1947? Well, they didn't enjoy what freedom was all about. So at that time, we all know that the kings and the princes used to rule the kingdoms, but and the people of those kingdoms were not allowed to think freely and create new ideas. Even people can create new ideas. They were killed because they had utilized their brain to make new ideas. So even some of them succeeded in their ideas, but when this continued, the kings and the princes learned a lesson that the common people should be allowed to think freely, so that they can create new ideas to develop the society. So we can get the idea that we should allow our brain to think freely on whatever we want to achieve. If you look at the story of our successful people, then we can see that those people were focused on what they wanted to achieve and were utilizing their whole time in achieving that. So we should take the inspiration from them because we should take inspirations from them of the successful, because they were all focused on what they wanted to achieve. And similarly, we should also be focused on what we want to achieve in our future. Finally, the most important thing that we get lesson from this whole topic is that we should never think about the past or about the present. We should always think about the future, or how we can improve the future from today's point. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, I have some question. I have some question to you, sir. Sir, why do you think the book should be written Seeing the Invisible? And 2 more questions are there. Then, what was the there is an event for which things are changing. So you have written that kings and princes had to reduce their power. So what was the process of making the power of the kings and princes reduced? And one more is there, as Assam's government is saying that Sanskrit and Assamese will be mandatory. So it is in this last context, it is the magic of freedom. So everyone should be having the freedom to choose thing now. So do you think that these mandatory things for all class 10 should be mandatory? Why should we not have the freedom of choosing the optional subjects? So, thank you, sir. I hope you will give that.
The reason I wrote this book is because I realized at the end of my life, I'm now nearly 60 years old. very, very old. Okay. I realize by now that in this world, and particularly in India, we have been, so let me focus on India because the world is not so bad in this particular situation. All over the world, there is a reasonably good quality of economics education. Not very good, but not too bad. In India, however, our parents, and I'm sure your parents, still continue with the belief that every child must be an engineer, doctor, or lawyer, or maybe a psychologist, or maybe one of these other things. But very rarely do I hear any parent say, I really think this is a great occupation to be an economist. Because economics is not understood in India for very fundamental reasons. And the reason is that we are a socialist country. In socialism that we follow in India, the model is that the government controls everything. The government manages all the rules, and I'll come to the mandatory question and all that. But in the process, the economics that is used is that of Karl Marx. There's a character by the name of Karl Marx. Some of you might have heard of him, some of you might not have heard of him. He is allegedly an economist. He wrote books on so-called economics. And what he did in that, he completely missed the fundamentals of economics. And then he started saying that the government should do everything. Okay. Now he became very influential. Why? Remember, the kings and people in power, they love anyone who says that you should become more powerful. Kings love advice which says, hey, king, you need to control more things. Then kings feel better. So not only kings, but even anybody who's elected to government, they feel, oh, he's a good economist. He's telling me that I should do everything. And therefore, it became very popular. It became very popular also for another reason. Because Marx went around saying that if the government does everything, then poverty will be eliminated. The poor will get, everybody will get what they need. Because the government will give them everything. The government will print the money, give them the money, will produce food and give them food. And all these ideas which were completely wrong were very popular for 150 years. Till the fall of the Berlin Wall, I think 1989, probably not. Yeah, I think 89 or 91. 91 was USSR and then, or 1991 was USSR and then, that broke up. So roughly 89. By the end of the 80s, let us say. So it started from about 1850, then when his books became popular, and went up to nearly 120, 30 years. And India was caught in the middle, because Indian leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, Netaji Bose, today, in a couple of days, Netaji Bose's anniversary. All our great leaders, they were very influenced by this idea. I'll give you an illustration of the price system. Price. I think I've written a little bit on the price system. So prices are magical. The magic of price is the one single thing that is almost impossible for the non-economist to understand. So you look at something, it has got a particular price. You go to the market, everything has a price. Have you ever thought, how did the thing come to the market in the first place? How did it come? Did government make it come by magic? No. Most of the things, even in India, are still in the private sector. Apart from things that government took over and spoiled, which I'll not talk about now because it's a separate topic. Most of the things like, groceries and this and that are still in the private hands, which is really why India still works. But those things are supplied not because some bureaucrat is saying, like me, is sitting there and saying, so many biscuits must be produced and sent to that shop here. Okay. How is it produced? Because of the price system. The price system sends the signal that this many biscuits must be produced. Because you will pay only so much for biscuits. Your parents will only pay so much for biscuits because they will use the rest of the money for milk or for bread or for fish or for your school clothes. They don't have infinite money. They will be willing to pay only so much for biscuits. And within that money, they will buy the biscuits that you like. Okay? And they know your preference. And so that preference of yours, your preference is translated invisibly through what your parents are willing to bid in the market. They will say, I will pay 100 rupees for half a kilo of biscuit. I don't know what is the price. Let's say half. 100 rupees for half kilo biscuit. Okay. The shopkeeper say, I want 120. They say, I'll give you 100. Take it or leave it. Then the shopkeeper says, okay, take 100. So what has happened here is that the price has settled at a point where your preference through your parents and their ability to buy. Now some parents can afford to pay 120. Some parents will pay 100. Some people cannot even afford 100. They will say, okay, we will not give our child a biscuit today. We will just give the child some chawal, rice. Okay. So what we are seeing here is that the entire invisible knowledge, the local knowledge, what is happening in the price system is so dramatically amazing, is that the knowledge which is inside your head, the head of everybody here in the class, but the head of everybody inside Guwahati, and the head of everybody in India, and the head of everybody in the world is simultaneously transmitted to the local shop. The preference goes into the demand-supply bargain. Okay, there's a bargain happening where the prices land. Like the best example would be a mobile phone, because most of these are produced abroad. Okay, so you can work it out. So maybe biscuits are produced in India. You think, oh, how is it the world's preference coming here? Of course, it comes. It comes through the price of the inputs, the raw materials, the food, the grain that goes inside, the sugar that goes inside. This is all globally traded. Okay, so the prices of the global things enter even your smallest thing. So what I'm saying is, the fact that you're even the single item in the market, there are two things to be considered. One is, how did the thing land up there? How did it come? Who made it come? What was the force that makes fellows get up in the morning, come to the shop, clean up? I was coming, they're cleaning the road, keeping it ready. A lot of work is going on in the market. People are working. Why are they working? They're working to get your money, okay? So that they will take it and give their children that money or use it for their family. Because of the self-interest of everybody, this is the other important point. Everybody has strong self-interest, which is such an important thing. So you have probably read, I've cited a few economists. I've cited Adam Smith. I've cited Bastiat, I've cited Hayek. So this is, I think the point about seeing the invisible, the question, I'm asking in a long-winded way about this question, first question. Why is the book called Seeing the Invisible? Because as an economist, you can actually see the invisible. This is absolutely invisible. It is about humans' preferences. It is about our, interests. It is about self-interest. You can also, once you start seeing the invisible, you will also realize why India is so corrupt, why India is in such a bad shape, why do our best people leave India and disappear and start serving Google and Microsoft? Why is it that and Intel, almost everything that is top quality in the world is produced by Indians. But there is none of them living in India. Okay, they're all abroad. Okay. And so, I don't know how many of you have been abroad, but you'll see the difference, dramatic difference. You'll get a shock, absolute shock. Here there's no footpath, you try to cross the road and you'll be crushed. I saw a child on the way trying to cross the road here, and he's saying, crossing, right? You can't cross the road. I myself went and tried to cross the road the other day in Kochi. I was in Kochi and we had to run on a zebra crossing. Okay, and that's a zebra crossing. Now, everything in this country is failed. This is a failed country. It's only surviving in a very modest manner. It's like poorest country of the world, the most corrupt country in the world. You think of all the indicators, compare with the world, you find India is at the bottom in everything. Okay? And yet our politicians say we are shining, we are incredible, and so on. Okay, you'll hear them say that. Okay? They're fooling you nicely. They're fooling you very nicely because they want votes. Right? But the reality is that they have followed a model called socialism, which has completely destroyed India. Now, to understand why socialism is a bad thing, you have to become an economist. And there is virtually nobody in India who understands economics. Because the government doesn't want to teach economics. The kind of stuff that I'm writing here in the book will never be taught in a government school because it is inflammatory. It will totally change the minds of the children. And within 10 years, you'll be leading the country. You'll become its MPs and MLAs and everything else. Within 10 years, 22, okay, not 10 years, maybe 15 years. By 15 years, 25 onwards, you are ready to become MLAs and MPs and whatnot. So, you are the leaders of the country in the next 15 years. And yet, you will not be taught this by the government. But luckily for us, yes, there's something very lucky. The internet has now opened up to everybody. Okay, on the internet, you can find books which are not available on the bookshops in India. Books by Bastiat, books by Hayek. Of course, Hayek's books are still not readily available on the internet. They are because they are copyright. Bastiat wrote in 1840s, and his books are free, available on the internet. Adam Smith's book, of course, The Wealth of Nations. It is the most amazing book ever written. It's about just 2,000 pages. It's a bit time consuming. I myself have not read it, but I know people who have read it and they love it. And I've read only snippets, but I've read a lot widely. Okay, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of material available on the internet to learn economics. Why I believe learning economics is important is because it is really essential for your survival. There are two things in this book you might have noticed. One, I'm trying to teach a little bit of economics, which is what I just said, price system, invisible, how things work. I also said something really important, and you mentioned it in the previous talk, previous presentation, which is about freedom. And I'll come to the second item now. Kings and priests and freedom. Freedom has been the harbinger of economic growth. So if you look at the history of the world for 100,000 years, people were extremely poor till around 300 years ago. They were extremely poor. Kings, however, were very rich, right? But the kings had one thing with them. The king said, this is the God, this is the temple, this is my role, I have come directly from the God, I am the son of God, or whatever, solar dynasty, blah, blah, blah. They will say they have the divine right to rule. Kings used to have, if you might have heard of it, in history, the divine right of kings, which was king's claim that we have been given to the earth by God directly. And we have not come from the sun. We have not come from something less. Directly from sun we are coming. We are the children of the sun. Sun gods. Sun dynasty, Ramsay dynasty in Egypt. Here also, everywhere in Rajasthan, you see everybody claims to have come from the sun. There are very few people from the moon. But, sun, very popular. Particularly the sun god, very nice shiny fellow. It's only a star, bunch of gas, okay, but forget that. The point is that people like to fool others, so once they have gained power, they have got 10 servants, they got 20 people with swords. There were no guns at that time. There were a few guns coming from China. But let's say they had swords. And they know that if you claim, but where is your God? Where is the proof that you have come from sun? Boom. Catch him, hang him, finished, gone. Right? End of the story. What is the point? There was no freedom. Right? Freedom came from a place called Netherlands. If you go back in history, there's a fantastic writer by the name of Deirdre McCloskey. Deirdre McCloskey, I never heard of her till about 8 years ago, but she's about 70 years old. She's an economist. And one of the most brilliant economists. She was a he, by the way. She was a he, she had a sex change. Either way, is a brilliant economist, and the books she's written talk about how freedom came to the world and changed everything. How freedom changed everything. Because the Dutch, for whatever reason, their king was never as strong as in other countries. And the Dutch people became able to think. A lot of innovation, a lot of invention. You must have heard of the Renaissance. Some of you, right? Renaissance. Renaissance came from Italy, but then it spread to the West, to the Northern Europe. And that is basically the Dutch were really the way their political system operated, they allowed all kind of rebels, people who are oppressed in other countries, they came and started living there. So they collected all the talent of the world, and these talented scientists and thinkers and writers, they all started doing this writing business and saying there is no sun god, there is this king is stupid or whatever, They started publishing all this stuff, right? Very, very inflammatory stuff. Remember there was Gutenberg had invented the press, and so they started printing. So these fellows were writing very, very inflammatory stuff. Inflammatory is truthful stuff, right? That is called inflammatory in the government system. So these people then created a revolution of freedom, and their traders, they became business people, traders, inventors. That then spread to England. And England, we had people like, I won't give names, too many names to remember. There were people out there who then wrote other advances on, hey, you cannot, the government should not be, dabbling in religion. So one of the guys, his name is John Locke. It's worth remembering, it's worth taking a note. John Locke wrote 2 treatises on government. And one of the things he said, hey government, stay away from religion. Because at that time kings were saying we are directly linked with religion. So the priests and religion, kings were together. So the question was, kings and priests and freedom. How did this change? Well, it came from the Dutch. And by the way, John Locke had to flee from England. He was persecuted, he fled to the Netherlands, and he wrote this book there. And he published it without his name, because if his name was there, he would have been gone, right? Luckily, one of the kings in England was hanged. Very good thing happened. One king was hanged, Charles the First, I think, or Charles, whatever happened, it is Charles the First, I think. So that was the 1650s. That was at the end of the king. Then other kings became a bit scared. So the people are now getting really difficult to deal with. Okay. So let us start behaving ourselves. Finally, there was the Golden Revolution. The king is not different from us. The king is not come from the sun. The king is simply any of us, and therefore the king must behave. So here's the deal. Till that time, till the 1688 Golden Revolution, the king was on top of the people. But from 1688, the king became below the people. The parliament became the head, and the king simply signed whatever the parliament said. There's a long history. Those of you who are interested can read my other manuscript called Discovery of Freedom. It's only 600 pages long. And it's got a detailed description of all these events. Okay? And I'm writing it for people like you. Some of you will actually get interested to learn how come you are sitting here without a king, making you work and build a pyramid or something, right? How come you have the luxury of sitting here and listening to another person and chatting and all that? How can you do it? You never had the opportunity till this whole thing happened. This revolution of bringing the kings below the people, the parliamentary democracy, that is the revolution that has brought freedom to the people. One of the biggest freedoms, which we do not have in India, by the way, is called freedom of expression. What is the freedom of expression? Is the freedom to be able to say and write what you want. I have absolutely no faith in any religion. I oppose all religion. That is my personal view. I have opposed it since the age of 12, by the way. That's exactly the age when I woke up. And I asked questions. Oh my God, what is all this stuff happening around me? All this caste and all this rubbish. I just rejected everything. There's a guy called Voltaire. I was very influenced by the philosopher Voltaire. He's a French philosopher, exactly at the same time. Voltaire and Locke were very close friends. These people, and Isaac Newton was another very close friend of Locke. So these kind of people were the revolutionaries. And then we had these people in, Jefferson. He wrote about freedom of expression. And in America, they made it a law. Even today, there's a law called the First Amendment, that the government shall not stop people from saying what they want. You read the First Amendment, it's much better said than what I just said. But the government has been stopped by Jefferson. who was part of the revolution, this is the revolution of freedom, where suddenly we, the people, the common slaves, we people holding the king's things and standing like this, king is coming, all that stuff changed, right? Then what happened? The king became below us. But the king was told that you are our servant. So today, the king is our servant. The government is our servant. That is the revolution. The revolution was that, hey, why are you here? We are here because of a thing called the social contract. So there are two philosophers, very important philosophers. I can give you the names if you want to say. One is Thomas Hobbes and one is John Locke. These are the philosophers of social contract. They said, hold on, king, you are not come from God, very clear. You have no business in religion. It's our personal business, what we believe or not believe. And you are here to do a particular job. It's a contract. We have given you a contract to give us security. You can defend our country and to protect us like police. And we have given you a contract to give us justice. And you, the king, are our servant. Social contract means we are giving a contract to the government. Okay? Imagine this situation where the king is our contract. This is the social contract theory. It's a revolution. Complete change in the mindset. Where earlier it is a divine right of kings, and now there is a contract with the king. And the king is a servant. When you hire a plumber to fix your house, some leaking tap, you say, okay, you fix my house, and I will pay you 1,500 rupees. That's a contract. Okay? So likewise the king is on contract. I will pay you taxes. Here's my tax. And the tax is also another thing. That you cannot charge me taxes till I agree. No taxation without representation. That is the Boston Tea Party's fundamental point. The whole, in fact, America split from UK, the great country called America, the great bastion of freedom, split from the UK where everything started. Because the UK was charging these people in America taxes without having a representation from America in the British Parliament. So they said, sorry king, you can't do this to us. So the British, they had not learned the lesson. They were making colonies all over the world, right? And USA was a colony, and they saying, we'll tax you. But these guys said, no, you can't tax us. We have to have representation. And the king said, no. And they said, then goodbye to you and we'll kill you. And they shot these fellows and threw them off. And that's how it became a separate country. But the principle is that king is on contract. We give you tax, which we agree. So there's a budget. In India also there's a budget process every year. And the parliament passes the budget. If the parliament refuses to pass the budget, the government falls. The government falls and has to change. The budget is therefore passed by consent of everybody. Okay? We then give the money to the king, or the government in this case, what do you call it, government? And we say, government, you will now make our drains, you will make our roads, you will do this, you will do that. Okay? That's called servant relationship. Can you tell me how much it will cost mankind to produce a brain that has even 1/10 of the capacity of the human mind? Can you imagine how much it will cost us? It is not even possible. Forget about the cost. In this brain, which is so nicely evolved from hundreds of millions of years over evolution, and now we have got this super powerful computer inside our head, right? That brain is the ultimate resource because all ideas come from that brain. From this brain, we are the unique atoms. Over evolution, all the stars formed and all that, but they didn't know what's going on. Today, we are an atom created from the stars. We are made of stars. I hope you know that much, that we are all come from stars. We are actually stardust because all the elements, all the big elements, apart from hydrogen and so on, most, I would say 98% of the elements that we find on Earth have been created in the stars. Okay, and because when they have supernova and all that, then they get the stars. So we are made out of stars. Okay, so we are a bunch of atoms. We have a lot of atoms, but we have one unique ability, which is we can see the world around us, and we can understand it. Okay, so this is. Can you imagine creating a thing which is so powerful that it can recognize the entire world? That is in everybody, each and every one of you. has the gift of the most powerful supercomputer ever invented in the entire history of the universe. There is nothing to beat the power of the human brain. From this brain, you can create the theory of relativity, you can create the amazing 5G. Do you know what is 5G? You know, this is 4G. Today we have 4G. Some of you might have read about 5G. It is coming next year apparently. 5G is the most amazingly complicated set of mathematical and physical formulas. Many of them created by Indians living in America. Let's note that, just to remind you how bad we are here, that we lose our brains. But these Indian brains and other Chinese and other brains were living in America because they flee from these backward countries. We have creating a system by which the capacity of this will become 100 times more than what it is today. The download speeds, the upload speeds, the power of the, and by the way, the power of the inside this is more than 1 million times the power of the first few computers that man made. We made the first computers only in 1960s. After I forget what's the thing called right now, but we created 1960s. And from that, those computers were the whole size of the entire school. That was one computer. And now this is millions of times the power of that computer. But now 5G will make this even more powerful by an order of 100 times. And of course you will get more and more power. How did this power come? Please explain to me. Did it come from magic? Did any god give us? Did king give us? Nobody. The kings, if they were there, they would have stopped us, right? They don't like power going to the people. This gives you power. You can read the internet anytime. You can read, you can get knowledge. You can communicate anytime. The power that is there in computers and the internet has all come from the human brain. And I'll move to the next point. The next point was about the mandatory Sanskrit and Assamese. Now when you mention here that there's a role for government in education and health, I agree with that, but it's only for the very poor. Remember that. There is no role for government in supporting anyone who can afford their own education. Do you think that your parents would not have educated you if you had not received, let's say, so if there was no government? Your parents are educating you here, right? Everybody, every parent in the world has only one focus. You see the self-interest I told you about? Tell me, who is the greatest well-wisher of a child? Am I your best well-wisher or is it your parents? They know everything about you and they have great hopes for you. And so your parents are the best well-wisher you can get. And so who is the government? And why should the government then say, you give me your money, you parent, I will take it from taxes and I will get this hopeless government school and you send your child there. But the parent says, no, I want my child to get good education. I want them to learn good English. I want them to learn whatever, the parent wants them to learn. And so I will put my hard-earned money, instead of buying more biscuits for my child, I'll put some money into his or her education. So what I was saying is that wherever parents can afford, even limited afford, they don't have to go to the best, biggest school in the world to get good education. They are always going to do that anyway. So remember, just go back in time to what I just said. The government is now to be treated as a servant. How can a servant tell us where to send our children? The servant is the government. The government has no business to tell us, the citizens, what to do with our children. Simple as that. And so we will send our child wherever we want. And in all cases, we will send our child to places where there is accountability. What is accountability? This is a very complicated word, a very long word. It's basically saying, if you do something right, you get a reward. If you do something wrong, you get punished. So I've been to Bhadohi district and there were a lot of students in a very, very much worse condition than yours. Much worse. But they were all going to private tutors, okay, and there was a tutor place. And the tutors had one simple rule, that if the tutor does not perform and does not teach, then they will leave and go to another coaching class. Okay. So, by the way, the same thing your parents are also watching. If your headmistress and Honorable Pankaj Das, the director, if they don't perform and keep the school running well, guess what? Your parents will shift you to another school. So there's a need for results. If they do well, then they will spread the word to others. So the point I was making was that even in education, we must always ask, what is the role of government what is the role of a servant? So you have servant at home, some of you will have servants, some of you may not have servants. So we had servants all through because I was in IES, which is so-called very, very elite job. In India, we had a lot of servants. Okay. Now, can my servant tell me what to do with my child? I care for my child more than the servant does. My servant has to tell me what to do with my child? It doesn't make sense. Likewise, the government has no business in education. The government has no business to run schools. Do you think that people cannot run their own schools? How hard is it to run a school? It's only very simple thing you are being taught. You're not being taught complicated things. And by the way, complicated things the government cannot even imagine, forget about teaching. So what is the business of our servant to tell us about education, what to do? However, there's a role for the government in supporting the poor. So there are poor people, poor children, who cannot afford to go to school, who cannot afford to get even basic education. For them, the government should provide some kind of a support, and we call it voucher or whatever. And that can then be used by them to go and buy education in the market. Right now, your parents are buying education. Please remember that. You are getting education. You are getting education, but your parents are buying education. Just like they buy vegetables, they are buying education because money is limited. Everybody has limited money, and so they will spend the money wisely. They will say, okay, this is a good school, I will put my child. Bad school, another school. They try another one, and this way, the best schools are rewarded with more students. And this school has been growing very heavily, so this must be a good school. I'm sorry, not in the business of supporting or not, but I suspect this is a good school because it started in a very small way 25 years ago. You were saying 34 years ago it started with what, 6 teachers or? Yeah, 6 students. So if a school starts with 6 students and today there are what, 1,000? 1,500 students. Then what does it say? It says this must be a good school. Okay. Now, what is the reason why government should be involved in this? No reason at all. Our servant has no business. Right? So that is what I was saying in education and so on. Now I'm coming back to Sanskrit and so keeping in mind the framework. The framework is the government should support the poor in education. The government should not run a school. Now you tell me, should the government say what is mandatory or not? Do you think that the teachers here are incompetent, they cannot decide what is good for you, and your parents are incompetent? So the servant, which is a government, our servant, the government, is now telling us, hey you, the fellow who pays us, the servant is saying, hey, you better learn, the children should better learn Sanskrit and whatever aspects. Can a servant tell us that? What business does the servant have? Tell me, explain to me, why is a servant who will tell us what to do? Are people here not competent? Are the parents incompetent? Parents know what they want their child to learn. And I can tell you for sure, almost 100% sure, that everywhere in the country, in India, parents want their child to learn English very well. English is the language of for the market. The world is all changed to English. Even the Russians and even the Japanese and even everybody is learning English. In fact, from Australia, people go to Japan to teach English. Make good money out of it. Go to Korea and teach English. Everybody in the world is learning English because the internet is in English. And almost all the academic journals are in English. It is your parents' business. It is you, your parents, and your teachers who will decide what you should learn. That is my position. That is the position of economics. That is the position of freedom. That is why this is a revolutionary subject. That is why it is not taught in India. It is too frightening for the government. Once children learn economics, my God, the government will have to go. All these governments will have to go. And you will start getting the world's best government here because you will run the best government. So this is a revolutionary book. This book will change your mind. It will change what you think about the world. You will change how you look at the world. It will make you ask new questions. The intention I wrote this book is really to use this as the way to change India's mind. Once you change, once you think it's useful, once you learn what I'm trying to say, and I'm saying nothing but these are very good questions. You notice? These 3 questions were very good questions.
Sir, do you think socialists are like Robin Hood?
Likewise, I suppose that there was a time when there were a lot of people, the socialists and so on, who were thinking, hey, all these people have exploited us for centuries and we have to do something about it. And so maybe it was a kind of just rebellion of some sort, you know. And in that process, they did that. They actually did what you said. So they stole essentially from the rich. They actually killed the rich. This also happened a little bit in India, not so much, but it happened a lot in the USSR. Now, the other part of socialism, which is what I alluded to earlier, was different. Was actually the problem, the real problem. This one, you know, is a historical anomaly. How do you get rid of feudalism? But what they then say, which is the real issue. So the socialism has got 2 parts. The second part is really saying that now I will manage the whole society. I will run all the farms. They had cooperative farms. I will run the farms. I will run all the factories. I will not use the price system. They hated the price system. This is so crazy, the Russian system, that it's collapsed like a house of cards, essentially, because they didn't use prices. They just used numbers to say you make so many boats or guns or whatever. And finally, they didn't have bread. They could not make bread. And so there were lines and lines of people waiting to get bread. Nothing worked because they rejected everything. They rejected in addition to, it's like throwing the baby with the bathwater, more or less. They got rid of the so-called feudal lords, which is the Robin Hood business. But then they also got rid of the very fundamental driver of wealth, which is the price system. Without the price system, by the way, let me tell you, price system is so important. That is why economics is also known as price theory. Sometimes you'll read a book called Price Theory. That's actually a book on economics. Economics is only one thing. It is only one thing in the end. It is the price theory. Because prices are what, if you can explain price system, you have understood everything. You have understood how wealth is generated. You have understood how resources are allocated. How many biscuits are produced, how many this is produced, everything is understood. Because then people are competing for everything. Every time there's a competition. But then this was very difficult to understand for people like Karl Marx. And people like Adam Smith also had not fully understood. I think I explained my book as well. Adam himself made errors in understanding the price system. He thought, very rightly, he said the word invisible hand was used by him, which is one of the reasons why I call this book Invisible Hand. Because hand orders the market, invisible hand. Very deep understanding, very deep insight. How is it possible for bread to come in the market without anyone telling anybody? Somebody is telling him. What is telling him? The price system is telling him what to do. But even Adam Smith made a mistake. He used to have what is called labor theory of value. Labor theory of value. Now, I'm going to too much detail. You can probably read on more later. Marx adopted the labor theory of value and made a complete mess out of it. And therefore, these people didn't really understand. Finally, we had what is called the marginal revolution. In economics, we call it the marginal revolution in the 1870s, as a result of which economics became very clear. There was no confusion anymore about the value of the price system. The whole of economics is all about explaining the price system. There are theorems that go on for 40 pages trying to understand how the price system works. And I had a professor, and I wrote it in one of my books or articles somewhere. He used to stand in the front of the class. He used to dance like this. What are the dance? Hyperplanes. In mathematics we have hyperplanes. Okay. So all prices, all preferences, all income, constraints of all people everywhere in the world are all part of this mathematical model, which generates the general equilibrium theory, which is the price system. It explains the price system. To understand the price system is highly mathematical. What I try to do is very simple. You can do it in a simple way, and if you want to prove it, it's very highly mathematical. Okay. The point I'm making is that socialism made a fundamental mistake in rejecting the price system. It did the right won't say right thing, I should, please do not quote me. I do not believe that killing anybody is right. Is not. There are many better ways to get justice in the system. But Kula, the Robin Hood part was, a different thing. The main problem with socialism which we have in India is actually the price system being rejected. And so the government does not, the farmers in India do not have access to the price system. They do not control what prices they get. And so forth and so on and so forth. There's a lot of this happening in India. Some prices are free, like mobile phone prices are free, but many others are not.
How can we get economic?
Yes. So the second part is, how do we get economics education in the country? I really don't think it's possible. I really don't think it's possible under the current situation. And the reason therefore, I'm doing this particular thing, I'm communicating with a few people outside the government. Because then, you see, most of the government system, most of the schools are under the government system. The CBSE and all that, they control the syllabus. There is no possibility of changing that until you actually change the government, which is a different thing. So, because that's a very difficult job, and I'm working on that separately, and I'm not going to discuss it today, it's not the occasion, but that's a separate job. Because it's so difficult, I will say that's not possible to change. However, the way it will change is through individuals who understand. Because finally the governments will be formed by them. Finally, you people will run the country. Don't forget that. Everybody has to die. People have to die. Come on. Then who's left? Oh, you are left. Okay, you run. Okay. And so on and so forth. This goes on. Every generation has to have the leaders. It is the leaders who understand economics who will finally tell the government to get out of this business. And by the way, it is not the business of government to tell you to learn economics. Please note, the point I was making was, the government has no business to tell you anything. What to do, what to think, what to wear, what to do. It's your problem, it's your life. You live it. Therefore, I do not want the government to be telling people, hey, you learn economics. No, please. I want the government to get out of education syllabus. And therefore, the idea of having this, that, etc. is only a problem because we have a socialist system where the government does everything. Once the government starts getting out, then people will choose. And if you think, and you and your children finally and so on, because by the way, life passes very quickly. You will be surprised. This is not very long ago that I was in class 8. Not very long ago. It may appear that old man has come. But in terms of my life, to me it's like yesterday. Life passes quickly. You will be surprised how quickly it passes. So by the time you and your children and so on are able to control the country, change the country, then you will in your own way ask them to study economics or request them or suggest to them. That is how we call organic growth. We do not want to impose economics or Sanskrit or Arabic or anything or Assamese or anything for that matter on anyone. Let people choose. My point is we should know nothing. In fact, the economist's mantra is that I know nothing. I cannot tell you anything. You know everything about you and yourself and you decide. Once we reach that situation where we give everybody complete freedom, the parents, the teachers, the principals, they will then decide what is required. And I would suspect that understanding economics will be on par with understanding science. Because without understanding really, good understanding of economics, and this is what I've given as a very basic book, okay? Without thorough understanding of economics, you really cannot run a country successfully. So then you will always have broken footpaths, you can't cross the road, everything is broken, corruption, etc., etc. You know a lot of that. That is what will happen without economics. So today we have that situation. Now the question is, how do I get it done? I don't think it's possible without changing government. But I also think it's possible if you and your friends and then your parents and so on, they create a demand for economics. But then you have to get interested in economics. Now, it is important for everyone to know as economics. The level of economics I've given in this book is actually important for everybody. One of the greatest economists in the world today is a guy called Vernon Smith. Vernon Smith is a Nobel Prize winner, one of the greatest economists alive today. And he considers this book to be a great book. Okay, so you're reading but I won't make it really good. I'll come to that. I want your feedback. Okay, but he thinks it's a great book for children. I have searched far and wide. I could not find a book for children, but I thought it's so important to write a book, so I've written this book, and I hope that you will read it. and that you will then read some more things that I've written, which I actually intended to educate the country, like Discovery of Freedom, a book of, as I said, 700 pages. Another book of Breaking Free of Terrorism, 250 pages, and so on. And as you read these things, and then you read Adam Smith, about 2,000 pages, and as you read others like Julian Simon's Ultimate Resource, which is about another 2,000 pages, as you read these few thousand pages, you will become really clear about how the world should run better. Okay?
The invisible things of economy should only be advised by the economists to the government, or should it be known by all from politicians to the citizens?
I think it's the second. The idea that economics is about the invisible hand, about the invisible thing, it is so important. By the way, this is not the only thing that's invisible. The most invisible of all that's so dangerous is the virus, the bacteria, right? So everybody has to know about it in order to survive. Economics is a survival skill for a society. It's not just optional, So, yes, when you talk of advising the government, I'm an economist in the government in Australia, and we advise and we are constantly pushing the government to improve the economic situation. I went to Singapore recently, and I emphasized that I've studied Singapore's work. They always follow some of the best economic advice. So the government economists, some of them can provide good advice to government. But it is not that way that governments work. The governments do not work because they want advice from the government economists. The governments work well because they know that economics is important, and so they hire good economists. India does not hire good economists. India has nobody interested in economics in the government. So it's important that citizens should understand economics. It's important that the politicians should understand economics. The government should understand. That means they should step out of the way. It is a fatal conceit, which is the title of a book by Hayek, to think that you know much. Economists are only telling people, you know nothing. Please don't tell others what to do. For God's sake, get out of the way. If you start telling everybody what to do, you do Sanskrit, you do this, you do that. Who are you? How did you know that this is important? How come you forgot that maybe Mandarin is important? In Australia, children are learning any language. My daughter has learned Japanese. She's very good in Japanese, okay? But who taught her Japanese? How did she get to know? It's her interest, okay? She searched, she saw some cartoons and so on. She became interested. Now, Japanese will be very valuable to her in the future. Why are we talking these other languages? All languages in the world are open for discussion. And the child should decide. I never decided Japanese for my daughter. She decided.
Sir, I have two questions. First question is that economics or science is important for our survival. Which one? And second is economy related to money, balance in investment or business, or it is related to our daily life?
All of you have been immunized when you were small, unless one or two are missed for some reason. But most of you have, almost all of you have been immunized. That is science. That allows you to live. Okay? You have a disease or a problem, you go to a doctor, then you get a treatment. Right? Science also tells you about hygiene. Science, therefore, is fundamental to survival, but also to communication. This is science. This is science. That I'm talking here into a piece of metal, and somehow it is going into becoming a sound on the other speaker. A bit of a science, right? Everything is science. Making a pen is a science. Making a paper is a science. All this is critical. These are about the physical world. Okay, science is about the physical world, and you must master that. Now, economics is about the human world. It's about us. We are not physical creatures like this. I told you, a wife is a complicated thing, right? But each of us is a very complicated thing. But what we do and how we do, if we don't understand. So if we don't understand why people are corrupt in the government, then who suffers? We suffer because our taxes are going to the government, they are taking it away. With the money they are building houses in Switzerland, okay? So that is not the purpose of giving money to government, right? So the purpose was that we get a footpath, which there's no footpath. So I would say both are very important, because economics is about learning about each other, how we behave, why incentives. I think I've used the word incentives in the book. It's about incentives.
Sir, do you think that rational behavior is the basic sense of human?
Self-interest, by the way, does not mean that it is right. I may make a lot of mistakes in the process. You know, learning mathematics, I'm sure all of you are learning mathematics. By now you're doing some mathematics actually, algebra and so on. Is it easy? I don't know. Some people find it easy, some people don't find it easy, right? But that is rational from the very theoretical perspective. The correct way to get an answer to a particular question is to convert it into mathematics and then to get the answer, right? Very time consuming, very difficult. Human beings on the other hand are not rational in that sense. We are, and this is why economics has a lot of study. We study a lot about human rationality. We are really interested in rationality, because if I say here, I have got some notes, here is 10 rupees. And here is 20 rupees. This is a good one. I love it. This is a good one. So I'll go to somebody. I'm not going to give away. Just watch. Just watch. Just watch. Suppose I want to give you this one of these notes. Which one will you take? If I want you to give you one of these two notes, which one will you take? We'll do just three experiments. What about you? If I give you 10 or 20, which will you take? What did you get to answer? People are rational. They know which one is better. So the answer to rationality is a very complicated answer, because we are rational in many simple things like this, like more money or less money. But we become not perfectly rational on some other things which are complicated. Like, I married somebody called Smita. Okay, I married Smita. She's from Assam. And there was maybe some other girls also at that time. I didn't marry them. Right? Now, why did I choose Smita? Was it rational? I regret it sometimes. But here's the deal. Okay, very difficult. Life is tough. This is simple. 10 rupee, 20 rupee, fine. Right? But humans have to choose not only this, they have to choose other things in life. Whether I will live here, I will live there. Whether I will build a house or I will build a hut. Whether I will live in the jungle or... No, we humans have many choices to make. But we have a gut feel, okay, about certain things. And then we decide. Is that rational? I don't know. No, I can't say that. But we do know that everybody is trying to do their best. Okay? Some decisions will go wrong. And people will learn. Just because people make mistakes does not mean that the government, we can tell the government that you tell us what to do. Like there are theories which say, oh, you cannot drink. Just yesterday, in one of the states of India, I think it is Rajasthan or some other, yes, Rajasthan, I remember, yes, it came in on Facebook. In the Rajasthan, there is a chief minister called Ashok Gehlot. Okay, he just became chief minister. He says, I will not be able to, we make an order that you cannot sell liquor after 8 o'clock at night. Now, liquor is not at all for children. Remember that. It's it's a metaphor. So we expect people to become more rational over time. We don't expect children to be even close to what are, full-fledged development of the brain is. So, rationality is also a function of the brain. I've discussed rationality for about 10 pages in my book, Discovery of Freedom. But I think I'll close it here, simply because it's such a complicated topic. And what I'm saying is that it's very hard, and we should never have a government to tell us what it is about. It should be us, and we should develop our own rationality ourselves. We should become thinkers. It's our job to be thinking for ourselves. So it's very complicated. Very good question.